from the Ticats Audio Network. This is the Ticats This Week.
Bell to his left. Levi is going to throw it.
Let's go!
Touchdown! Touchdown, Cats! Keandre Smith! Count them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wins in a row for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Still the Beasts of the East, 1/3 and a little bit into the Canadian Football League season here in 2025 after a monumental comeback win in BC on Sunday. We're going to talk about, obviously, Ticats Lions in the week that was. We'll look ahead to what is another big game on the schedule as the struggling Elks are next in Edmonton at Commonwealth Stadium. Tiger Cats pregame this Saturday afternoon begins at 2. Kickoff is at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. First afternoon game of the 2025 season. Before we get into our hot topics of the day, and we have some scorchers to get to today, let's give everyone a glimpse of the CFL standings. And we'll start in the West. Saskatchewan at 6-1. Calgary's at 5-2. The Blue Bombers 3-3. The Lions, after losing to the hottest team in the land, the Tiger Cats, BC's at 3-5. The Elks at 1-5. They're in desperation mode to get a W. Hamilton will certainly try to stop that from happening on Saturday. In the East, Hamilton at 5-2. Montreal at 5-2. Toronto, after a win, is now 2-5, and the Red Blacks at 1-6. And apart from Hamilton and Edmonton this Saturday afternoon at 3, we have Week 9 of the CFL season kicking off Thursday night with Calgary in Ottawa. Red Blacks coming off the bye. Winnipeg will host Toronto on Friday. And after the Cats and Elks game, it's a doubleheader Saturday. Saskatchewan is in Montreal, which should be a doozy. Two of the big teams in the CFL. All right, let's get to what I just referenced off the top with Simoni Lawrence and Matt Bucknor, my two right-hand men. Sim, we're going to start with you on this one. The Tiger Cats, as I mentioned, 5 straight wins, and they're first in the East. They have the tiebreaker against Montreal. At the risk of getting ahead of ourselves, Hamilton is a legit Grey Cup contender, right?
Oh, come on, Rick, Matt, Hamilton Nation, all of our loyal fans. Absolutely. The Hamilton Tiger Cats is a contender. And it's not just because they beat Ottawa twice. It's not just because they beat Montreal. But the most important thing is, to be the champs, you have to take it from the champs. I don't even remember the last time the Toronto Argonauts won a football game against Hamilton. So, a contender for the Grey Cup? Absolutely. We're number 1 in the East. If everything would stop right now, where would we be, boys?
First,
Grey Cup. We be in Winnipeg with our jackets on, with our bathing jackets on, our bathing boots on, living a good life, feeling good. The boys are a contender, and not only because we're the Beast of the East, but because we can go on the road and win football games. You can't be a true contender unless you can go out west and win some of those west games. And where further west can you possibly go than Vancouver in the CFL and win in that kind of fashion? Rick, the Ticats been winning football games. Matt, the Ticats been winning football games because we have been the beast of the turnover ratio. We have been not letting teams run the ball on us. We've been playing consistent football, but this game tested all of that. I'm talking about from the stance of we were down. James Butler was hot as fish grease early in the game. Everything was not going our way. But then what happened? With 4 minutes left, it looked like we was down by 10 points. And then we end up winning the game. Oh, man. Not only are we championship worthy, we need to be in the championship, because when the Hamilton Tiger Cats are playing football, it's must-see TV. I never see so many tweets. Every time the Tiger Cats play, everybody goes crazy. I think it's Canada's team.
I like that. I think you got a good point. I mean, this is a team that's been, in the standings for the last little while. Certainly last year, a team that has been looking up at the competition. But Matt, 5-2 after the first 7 games, and not only the record, but just the way that they have played, winning that turnover battle, running the ball effectively, Bo Levi doing his thing, the defense, coming up and making big plays, the special teams being special. Matt, this is maybe the most complete team in the CFL, with apologies to Saskatchewan at this point.
And no, they got to play. They're playing unapologetic right now, Rick, and as they should. And the Ticats right now, They're winning. They're winning on special teams. You got Isaiah Wooden, who's been making flashes. Last week it was a little quiet last week, but still made contributions, right? And he's been the most consistent returner I think so far in the league. And then we're looking at Bo Levi, who's also a winner. You know, people counted him out last year, MOP, and right now Bo Levi is on an MOP pace, which has been incredible to watch, but incredible to see. So we have an MOP candidate with Bo Levi, who's the team's going to go as far as he goes, right? Then you have the stout wide receiver core. They've been making their flashes. Of course, I thought last night or last game was an indication of, okay, they're trying to shut down Lawler. They're going to double team Lawler. This is going to be a team. How can the rest of the guys step up? And they did that in a really big way last week. And so you have that. That's the sign. To me, that's a sign of a really good football team. You're not just going to rely on one horse in this race. You're relying on the rest of the guys that can contribute to and take you guys into a lot more wins. And then, of course, this defense has been lights out. I talked about it before, and I'll say it again. But the guys in this unit, especially, I'm looking at more of the secondary here, but a lot of those guys have won Grey Cups themselves. Jamal Peters has won a Grey Cup. Deshaun Amos has won Grey Cups. Moxie's won a Grey Cup. There's Stubblefield has won a Grey Cup. So you have guys that have won Grey Cups. So what that does for a team, you look at this fourth quarter in this game, and we heard it from Milanovic. We heard it from Keandre Smith came on the call. They were down 10. Sim, you talked about it. They were down 10 with a few minutes left in the game. There was no panic from this group. And I think that's a sign of a really good football team is the resolve that you can have when your back's against the wall. Nothing's going your way. They had a game that nothing was going their way that game. Well, not nothing, but they had a lot of breaks that went against them. But they still found a way to get it done. They did the exact same thing against Ottawa. Ottawa was ahead of them. There's a few minutes left. Bo Levi scrambling to get first downs, making plays when they needed him the most. And I think this is a sign of a really good football team because they're winning on all three phases of the game. They're a very well-coached football team. You have Coach Monson, who's the D coordinator. He's a Grey Cup champion. You have Milanovic. He's a Grey Cup champion. So you have a bunch of winners that are in the room right now that know how to lead. And then, of course, they know how to win games when things aren't going their way. So I think this is a sign of a really good football team and a sign, of course, of a contender, despite their 5-2 record.
Yeah, you hit it on the nose. I feel like as far as Bo is going to take these boys as far as they want to go because he's doing a tremendous job not turning the ball over and throwing these touchdowns when the football team clearly needs it. And that's where the confidence is coming in this football team, and let alone this defense that are making key plays, like plays that you're not even seeing, but it's happening. Like when Hatcher catches that football and is sprinting down the football field and Talbert catches him and they only get 3 points out of that. Holy moly. Think about when they would need those 3 points later in the game. So you're getting these effort plays. And then you were talking about the special teams, Matt. You said Wooden was quiet. They were scared of him because he only got 2 kick returns, Matt. He got 2 kick returns for 98 yards. I'm going to give him 50 apiece. You know, every time he caught it, he was taking it past center line. And then he only got 3 punt returns, and you know what the rule is. All we want from the special teams, from a punt returner, is first, get the ball back to the offense, and then just get me 1 first down. He had like 3 for 37. That's like a 12-3 average or something. You know what I mean? So he's doing his thing consistently. He's doing his thing so consistently that teams are scared of him. And teams are actually scared of players on our team. And that's the ultimate sign of respect when Kenny is getting double teamed. The way they were playing defense, it was absolutely embarrassing, BC. Please don't ever do that again. Or go find some DBs, please, because that was embarrassing. What y'all was doing. Y'all had y'all Pro Bowl DB, Gary Peters, over top of another DB to cover Kenny Lawler on the comeback route. Oh! Yeah, this team's built for championship, Rick. I'm sorry. What you got, baby?
And listen, that's not to say that other teams aren't. This is a question of whether the Ticats are. Saskatchewan's had a great start to the season. Calgary's, they've had a wonderful start, but, Vernon Adams Jr. and his future is there's a question mark there given, his concussion protocol status. Let's hope he gets back onto the field. Montreal's off to a great start, but again, their QB1 is on the sideline as well. So big question mark. You look at the Ticats, winners of 5 in a row. They've beaten teams over the last 5 weeks in a variety of different ways. This past week, they had to come back in the fourth quarter to do so, and they flexed their muscle in all 3 facets of the game. And I think from a coaching perspective, too, like some of the decisions that Scott Milanovich is making, Brett Monson on defense is making, are having big impacts, paying big dividends on the field. And when you look at, the coming weeks, and the schedule and the teams that are on the calendar for the Ticats, there's a runway for an excessive winning streak if they continue to play like they are. But you mentioned as well, Sim, and I'm going to transition to our second point. Matt, we'll start with you on this one, is the Keandre Smith factor, because Sunday night in BC was his coming out party. 14 catches, 138 receiving yards, 2 touchdowns. Yeah, BC did a great job of stopping Kenny Lawler, but Keandre Smith, and to another extent, Tim White had a good game as well. They not only moved the chains, they got into the end zone. Was this Keandre Smith's coming out party in more ways than one? Meaning, he's a guy that Bo can target, along with Tim, along with Shamar. There are so many weapons at Bo Levi Mitchell's disposal. Let's talk about Keandre and the job that he did against the Lions.
There's no doubt that this was a part of his coming out party. That's what you wanted to call it. But for Keandre, I think it's one of the things. I light up when I see him making plays. And the reason is because he's a confident kid. He's a confident player, and he doesn't shy away. He doesn't shy away from the big stage, the big plays. And one of the things for him, having those 14 receptions, it shows his reliability. So now Bo, not that I don't think Bo's doubting anything that any of the abilities that Keandre has, but now it's okay. I can take more shots towards look his way a few more times if Kenny's covered, or if Tim White is covered, I can look Keandre's way. And I think this is a really big indicator. And what it does too is it puts the rest of the coordinators on notice too, and it puts the rest of the secondaries that are covering these guys on notice too, where you can't double team Kenny. Because you just opened it up for Brandon Orange. You just opened it up for Keandre Smith, who just went off on you guys for 138 yards, 2 TDs. So it's a really good indicator, not only for Keandre, but I think for the rest of the receiving core as well, where it's like, the focus has been, and the talk, obviously, over the last handful of weeks, rightfully so, has been about Kenny Lawler, because Kenny's been doing his thing. He's been leading the league in receptions, leading the league in touchdowns. So of course he's gonna attract a little bit extra attention. But now it's okay. We got another group of dogs that are out here that are gonna get loose, and I think it's something that these coordinators, these DBs, are gonna really have to be on alert for the rest of the stretch of the season. We talk about the seasons going in thirds. Let's see what this middle third of the season is going to look like with the rest of this receiving core. I'm really excited to see what Keandre and this crew really put together.
Simoni, Matt makes a great point in which, opposing defensive coordinators now have to look at not only Kenny Lawler and Tim White and Keandre, but Brendan O'Leary-Orange had a massive catch in that game. Shamar Bridges is so dangerous. Simoni, from a defensive perspective, from the opposition, like, who do you cover and how do you do it?
You got to challenge your players when you play football, Rick. You know what I'm saying? Like, the game is always about your playmakers versus the other team's playmakers. So, for example, when we got to go and play like a team that has a really good receiver, you put somebody in his face and you make sure somebody's always getting hands on him all the time. The thing about it is, the way that BC was playing it, they were doing something that they've never done before. I just know that they were just trying things. This was one of those weeks where the defensive coordinator was like, all right, guys, this is what we're going to do to stop Leonard. And he's over there drawing over the Puerto Rico or something. You know what I'm saying? Something that just looks good on paper until your playmakers go out there and never done it before. Like, I was seeing things I've never seen BC done. I'm like, why are you guys changing your whole playbook? You guys never practice this. So you got to rely on consistency. Everybody's trying to reinvent the wheel. You can't do that. You do that in training camp. You put your team and your players in horrible position when you give them 1 week to prepare for something that they're not going to see the rest of the year because our receivers are one of one. And even when they tried to do that, everybody knows the way you beat that is you put 4 receivers on the side, and on this big football field, you can level everything. And when I say level everything, that means if you got 4 receivers on one side, the third receiver to the strong side, he can run about a 15-yard. And then the guy after that, he can run about a 25-yard. And then the guy after that, he can run a 44-yard Brandon O'Leary Orange on the touchdown. You know what I'm saying? It's on this field, you can't play it like that. If you want to stop somebody, you know what you got to do. You got to go match and challenge your players' eyes and discipline. You got to go robber. You got to go play man-to-man, just put somebody over top and play football like that. Like, what they were doing was they tried to come up with some master plan, and it was horrible. Keandre is the real deal. That's why he plays for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. That's why he's on a new contract. He can do that. He's an ultimate competitor too. It got to the point where it was being disrespectful. There was times that Keandre was wide open and nobody even was in his vicinity when he caught the ball. He would literally catch the ball with a 12-yard catch and then be able to get 5 yards before anybody even comes close to him. That kind of disrespect will get every single team beat, even if you win the turnover ratio, even if you start fast, even if you all of that. If you the disrespect that they were playing football saying, oh, we're just going to let these guys do whatever. Hey, it's just everybody here is a professional football player. And Keandre, when he went for those catches, 14 catches, 138 yards, and 2 touchdowns, that's just letting the whole league know, hey, smarten up and play real football, man. Like, don't just give all the glory and the story to one person and say, hey, if we take him out, the team sucks. Because that's pretty much what you're saying when you do certain kind of coverages and stuff like that. You're like, yo, if we stop him, everybody else sucks on their team. Are you crazy? Tim White was 100%, 6 for 6. Like, first, Mr. Tim White, we call him Mr. First Down now. You know what I'm saying? Like, the insanity of what you're trying to do, don't mess up your defense. Everything should be around in the team atmosphere. And Keandre, he's the real deal. A lot of teams going to be like, hey, look, we're going to play our defense, but this are the couple of wrinkles that we can do that make sense. We're not going to try to reinvent the wheel or nothing.
One thing I like, too, as well, is that, Kenny Lawler had 2 catches for 29 yards. It wasn't like they were trying to force him the ball either. He had 4 targets. I think the Ticats and Scott Milanovich and Levi Mitchell especially realized that, okay, BC's doing this. We're going to adjust here, and now we're going to target Keandre. We're going to target Tim. We're going to get, O'Leary Orange involved, Greg Bell out of the backfield, whether he was running or catching the football. Like, Matt, that was a quick adjustment, and BC did not adjust to that.
No, they didn't have an answer. They didn't have an answer. And the thing too with Bo, and I love Sim, you touched on it right there too, where Bo's just taking what they're giving him. Okay, you guys are gonna go over the top with Kenny. You're gonna double team Kenny. We're gonna have these open shots. We're gonna have Greg Bell out the backfield. We're gonna have Keandre in the flat. We're gonna have Brandon O'Leary Orange wherever we want to. Not wherever, but on some of these spots where we hit the level. So yeah, they didn't adjust, and Hamilton took full advantage. And I think this is, again, we talk about the sign of a winning football team, but this is a sign of a winning offense as well, because sometimes you see offenses they try to force. They're going to try to force a look to Kenny or force these deep shots and it doesn't work. But they're just doing what makes sense. We have a guy open. Hit this guy open in the flat. We have these guys that are going to take these underneath routes, or they're going to give up the underneath routes. Let's take that and let's go and let's run with it. They had Augustine coming out of the flat and catching out routes for first downs too. So it was just, I thought it was well designed, well executed by the Ticats that last game for sure.
9 different receivers caught
touched the ball.
Pass.
Mm-hmm.
That's your dream at a pickup football game when I was young. Because, when we play football, it's like we playing 11-11 and everybody wide receivers. So that means I need Bo to play quarterback back in my hood at Upper Darby so he can get everybody to football. Because he's going to make sure everybody touch the ball. And listen, BC Lions on that final drive, when I tell you, it's like nobody's ever played in the CFL before. Because I've never seen on the 20-yard line, they quit ever since the 20. As soon as they got on the 20, they quit. Normally it's like they were just scared to get their top taken off, like they didn't want to get beat deep. But oh my, they're forgetting Greg Bell's so skilled. I watched him catch the football, and there wasn't nobody 10 yards within Greg Bell. And that's like playing punt return against Greg Bell. I'm betting on Greg Bell every single time. When I tell you guys, Rick and Matt, that what BC did on that final drive needs to be studied, because everybody needs to study and watch what never to do when you're trying to stop a team to win the football game on every single level, because it went from horrible to even worse, not even covering the guy that got him all the way down there. I was like, oh man, I don't know what's going on, but I like it.
We do have to give some love to the Ticats defense as well, especially in that fourth quarter where it's 33-23. The Ticats score a TD. The Cats D makes a big 2-and-out stop. Hamilton gets the ball on offense again, and they score again. So that was a critical defensive effort in the late stages of that game. Let's stay with the offense, because there was a lot to talk about. Sim, did you want to chime in on just on that point?
I just wanted to talk about that offensive line.
Okay, yeah, let's do that.
Because there was points in this football game, that guy Betts that I used to love and say how much he had a motor, they were picking Betts up like this and slamming him. The reason Betts punched one of our players in the face, because he was getting blocked to sleep the whole game. People were bullying him. I don't know. He wasn't used to this kind of I can't do nothing. Everything's they're too much for me. So big kudos to our offensive line from the left side all the way to the right side, and even the guys that are coming in and chip blocking, because you guys were professional football players. When I see the highest paid defensive player not doing nothing but getting put on his backside and then getting upset and throwing punches at you guys, that let me know that y'all not only beating them physically, y'all beating them mentally. Y'all took his will. Shout out to our offensive line. They're dogs, man. I love that.
Yes, and just to add to that too, that pocket for Bo was clean all night. It was clean for Bo all night. And I think, for Bo, even we talk about the pass or Larry Orange, but Bo is untouched. He's untouched. He gets to scan the field. He gets to do what he wants and just let it fly. And so I thought, again, Sim, I'm touching on this O-line and highlighting them is huge, because Bo wasn't touched that game.
Nah, and to be fair to Benavides and Ryan Phillips over there, to be fair, I know that's why you spend all that money on D-line, to be able to rush forward. So you're like, oh man, we should be getting some more pressure on this quarterback. We spent all this money and he's not producing, so he's making your DBs have to be $200,000 DBs when you got $200,000 D linemen. That's not going to add up. You got to do what makes sense. So, hey, Bet, you got to get on your horse, bro. You letting your team down.
You look at the post-game stats from that game on Sunday, Matthew Betts' name is not on it. No tackles, no sacks, no nothing. It's like he didn't play the game.
Boy, if Willie Jefferson had a game like that, they'd be telling him he got to lead the league. Lead the league. Yeah, mighty quiet, y'all. Yeah. Y'all mighty quiet.
Absolutely. Matt, let's talk about Levi Mitchell. Bo knows game-winning drives, rallying Hamilton past the Lions after trailing by 10 points with 4 minutes to go. What makes Mitchell so clutch when the game is on the line?
Bo, I said it earlier, he's a winner. The man's a winner, and this isn't something new for Bo. Bo's been winning since high school. All the way to college when he went to Eastern Washington. He's just been a winner his entire career, of course. And then, of course, what he did in Calgary speaks for itself in terms of his production, in terms of the amount of Grey Cup appearances that he's had. And so when you're accustomed to winning, when you get into some of these situations, there's never going to be any type of panic. And I think that's the best thing for a lot of those players because they're, like I said earlier, they're going to go how Bo goes. And he's coming out there and his pulse, you see him, he points to the veins. He points to the veins. He says, I have ice in my veins after all these plays that he makes because he's cool. He's cool under pressure. And that's what you want from your leader. You don't want your leader to panic. You don't want anybody to panic. And the thing is for him, when he gets clutch, the reason he's so clutch is because he's seen a lot of these situations. You know, like Rick, like if you're a pro, you've done this your entire for years, right? 30 plus years. If we put you in any type of other situation, another broadcast or another team, you're not gonna panic. You know what to do. You've been doing this, right? You're a pro. And so it's the same thing for Bo. When Bo gets out there, he's getting loose. There's no panic in that fourth quarter. They're down 10. He's going to the sideline. He's drawing up the next plays. He's letting these guys know, hey, when we get back on the field, this is what it's going to look like, and we're going to score. And I think that's the biggest thing for him is there's no panic. The man's a winner, and he's been doing it, and he's going to continue to do it. And I love these types of situations because I love when people count other people out. I love to see that, and then I love to see when or how they respond. And so Bo is just, the people were counting him out. He got hurt, and they're just there. You hear all the rumblings, but again, what solves all, and what cures all, is winning, and Bo's doing that.
100% an opportunity, right? Because
yeah.
a lot of people get hurt and miss seasons and things happen and they don't get the opportunity. You know what I'm saying?
True.
So
That's
right
true.
now, Bo's just should be grateful for this opportunity and teams still betting with him and giving them the opportunity to showcase who he is after an injury and stuff. Because a lot of guys don't get that opportunity. Once they get hurt, it's over for them. So
Right.
for him to get this opportunity to make these plays is what we expect. That's why Bo Levi's in the Hamilton Tiger Cat uniform. And you're absolutely right. What I like to call Bo, he's one of those we could talk on Hall of Fame level because Bo's one of those guys, you know what I'm saying? Where it's like, he got that smooth killer look, you know what I'm saying? Like, to be a smooth killer, I'm going to tell y'all about a smooth killer, and I'm going to also coach one of the other players that we just played against, James Butler. The smooth killer look, Bo Levi got it. You go into the media, they ask you about the team. Oh, we're playing against a real strong team this week. They got some good DBs. They got this guy over there and then this guy over here. But in his head, and all his teammates know is, we about to put belt to butt. I'm a stone cold killer. But in the media, I'm going to play the game and just like whatever. But everybody on that field, when I get in there, start pointing in these veins and going crazy, that's how like, when you about to kill something, you can't say nothing about it or else you're going to get convicted, you know what I'm saying? So you got to stay quiet, you know what I'm saying? So he's just a smooth killer. Like when the opportunity presents himself, he's going to do exactly what he knows he's going to do. But he ain't going to tell nobody about it. Like, for example, James Butler. He ain't got the smooth killer look yet. He telling everybody what he gonna do. So he good in the media like, oh, I can't wait to play. Oh my God, so much to go and get these guys. That's gonna make first of all, that's gonna put a target on your back, and then it's going to take away from the team atmosphere. Because as a leader and as a professional football player, you don't never want to take away from the team atmosphere, even when you're getting all the glory. And that's why I love about Bo too, because every time Bo is receiving all this glory, he gives credit to his offensive linemen, his defense, all of it, because he understands the whole aspect of this game and he understands how people feel. Everybody wants to be the star, but everybody can't be the star. So whoever the star is has to bring everybody up with him. And I think that's why Bo is so successful right now, because people feel included in the winning and his success as well. I think he's going to keep making plays. Hey, James, bro, get that cool killer look before I get bird suck on you.
I call Bo Levi a calculated assassin because
yes.
He's 35. He's been in the league 14 years. He has seen everything. He has done everything. He's accomplished the highs of the high. And there's nothing that a defensive coordinator can throw at his way that he's going to look at to say, yeah, I'm not sure what's going on. Like, he's going to figure it out and do so quickly and make the big explosive plays and get everyone involved and make sure that, all facets of the game are running on high octane. Sure, he's going to have a bad game or two or a bad series. That's always going to happen. You're never going to play a perfect game. But Bo Levi has the mentality and the execution level that are few and far between at this level of pro football you guys have seen. By the way, Bo Levi, number one in a number of offensive categories. Again, first in touchdowns with 15, 4 more than Nick Arbuckle and Trevor Harris. Only 3 interceptions, which is the lowest among the top quarterbacks in the Canadian Football League, and throwing at a 69% completion clip. That's pretty doggone good. He's got it going on for sure. All right, we have to, because this was a play that is going to be talked about probably for years to come, and this is the Robert Carter Jr. interception. Yes, he plays for the BC Lions, but there are plays where you just got to tip your cap to say, wow, that was unbelievable. And at the time, the way that I called the game, and Sim was watching it too, we called it an incomplete pass because we thought, Brandon O'Leary-Orange kind of looked like he just saw it drop to the ground, and Carter made this wild jump for it, and there was no way he caught that, and lo and behold, he did make the catch. Like, Matt, that was unbelievable.
That was one of the best interceptions. It's top 5 interceptions I think I've ever seen from a DB in the CFL. And one of the things too with Robert Carter is he made a similar play at Robert Morris against Utah State. And that was something I did not know either. And I went and pulled up and saw the highlight. And that catch that he made against Utah State was just as good, where he's the receiver is running a go route and he jumps out of it was just unbelievable athletic ability. And he did it. The other interception against Utah State was one hand as well. And so DBs, I know they all talk about DBs don't have hands, but he was flashing them he was flashing them that day. And but again, Sim, you talk about Bo and how he's a killer, a silent assassin, but Bo was also giving a shout out to Robert Carter on that interception and said, hey man, like I think quote unquote, he said, I gotta tip the hat to you, because that was an outstanding pick. And again,
but in the back of his mind, in the back of Bo's mind, he like, if I ever see this guy again, we going right at him and we putting Kenny Lawler over there and we dunking on his head. You're back. Absolutely right. It's coming, but we can't talk about that.
No, not yet. Wait till August 7th.
That's right.
Wait till August 7th for that. Yeah, and Bo's waiting for that one.
Come on now, get out of here. Nah, you hit it on the nose. That was a tremendous football play. I love the fact that was off of like a one-leg jump bounce. Right. That was extremely athletic football play, and it got me thinking, Matt. I was like, what was your best football play? Like, what was the best football play for you that's like, oh my, like, man, how did I do that?
Ever? Like all time?
Yeah, ever, yo. Ever. Or you could give it to me on every level, like, you know what I mean?
Okay, so there's this one pick. All right, it was a catch that I made. Because I played wide receiver too. Hey Rick, I played receiver too now.
Wow, look out!
Don't sleep on the kid.
Two-way Bucknor. Two-way Bucknor. Move over, Travis Hunter. New dog in town. Where's Neon Dion at?
I didn't wear 21. I wore 21 in high school.
There you go. See?
And so it was my quarterback. Shout out Corey Blair. My quarterback Corey Blair threw a deep pass down the middle, and I made this like crazy one-hand catch that ended up. It went in like the main page of the Spectator, so it was like they showed me like this one-hand catch. I gotta find that pic. Spectator, if you can find that pic, send it to me.
Oh, they got it.
Yeah, I gotta get that pic again. But it was an awesome. That was probably one of my highlight catches from high school for sure. I'll just go with that one for now.
Let's give your school a shout out too.
Oh, Hill Park High School! Shout out Hill Park High School. Come on,
let's go.
It's closed now.
What's up, Hill Park?
Yeah,
shout out to Hill Park.
I think they closed it down and like, Matt Buckner's left. Like, we can't get any better than that. We gotta shut her down now. There you go. Sam, what about you? Answer your own question.
Yeah, we gotta hear the juice from you,
Yeah.
bro.
Oh man, it got to be both against rival teams. I'm gonna give you one from my hometown.
Okay.
So in my hometown, everybody know I'm from like Upper Darby. It's like right outside of West Philadelphia, right? So in Upper Darby, we combined two schools. It's Upper Darby. All the kids that go to Upper Darby on one side of the tracks, and then all the kids that went to Drexel Hill, they make it into one big school. Over like 4,000 plus kids go there.
Wow.
You know, me, I'm in the Hall of Fame there with what's her name? The girl that wrote Mean Girls, Tina Fey.
Oh,
Me
yeah.
and Tina Fey, we went to the same school and stuff,
Nice.
right? So like it's a huge school, and our rivals is this team called Havertown. And I'm talking about it's so bad, like the rivalry's so bad. If like you wear your Upper Darby jacket and cross that border, those cops are gonna pick you up. You know what I'm saying? So it's like one of those rivalries. So we're playing them on our Thanksgiving game, and I'm looking at our quarterback, and I'm just like, yo, just throw the football up in the air, and I'm gonna go get it.
Okay.
And, you know, shout out to my lovely mother, Amanda Carr Lawrence. You know what I'm saying? I got the picture right here, y'all.
Oh, look out!
That's the
those
picture of me
Hawks.
jumping over somebody's head
What?
and picking it. Yeah.
Okay.
So, you know, I said just throw the ball up. That's young 21 in high school and stuff, you know. So I got the opportunity to do that. And then against the Argos, it was one of those plays where this was one of those, like, I give credit to it because it was a study and acrobatic play, because I seen the quarterback, it was Zach Caleros. He did like a quick 3-step. So I immediately stopped my feet because I know I can't get to him. So I'm trying to read and see when he throws the ball up. I also got a big offensive tackle in my hand. So I got to push him so he can't push me off the ground. So I push him. I tip the ball. I do a 360, catch the ball. Cacker comes trying to take my legs out, juke him, and then I think like Van Zyl jumped on me or something. You know what I mean? Like 1 yard before the end zone. But that guy, hey, if we could find that play, Troy, please play it. You know what I'm saying? That was those were my two favorite plays for sure.
That's a good one.
That was my favorite. Hey, Rick, no. What you seen a lot of football. You called football games. Mm-hmm. What was the best football play that you seen live?
Wow, I got to say, well, let's go with my Ticats broadcast career, and this is a play that I will never forget. And it wasn't because it was a big game. It wasn't a Grey Cup. It wasn't even an East. It wasn't even a playoff game. But this was Jesse Lumsden back in the day as a new Tiger Cat. He had tried his hand in the National Football League and didn't quite make it with Washington, but had a lot of promise, and he was coming back to the Tiger Cats, a guy who starred for McMaster University, was just all-world at the U Sports level, and there was a lot of excitement, a lot of build-up because the team at the time wasn't very good, so a lot of the fans were like, oh, here's the hometown kid from Burlington, Jesse Lumsden, coming in, he's going to save the day, and he really downplayed the savior bit, as all players would, because you're one of 12, at least on the field. And he made this monster run. It was one of the first touches he had in the CFL. And I think it was like a 78-yard or 84-yard touchdown run. Oh. Like, he just beamed by everyone. And he's a big dude, like 6'2", 228. Yeah. And he's running away from people. And I just remember the call. It was Red Rover, we called Jesse Lumsden over, because it was just such a phenomenal run that fans, I'm sure, had never seen in a long, long time. So it's probably my all-time favorite play of calling Ticats football. But I want to get back to the photo just one time, because I saw a picture of a hot dog there. Does that mean, like, after the catch you were hot dogging it, or did you celebrate with a hot dog?
My mom. All right, so if I tell the story, I gotta read my mom's prayer for us too. Then though, because if I tell the story, all right. So in high school, y'all, I know y'all can't believe it, but I used to show off a lot. Like, I got benched in this last game. Because I had 6 touchdowns by the end of the third quarter. And by the end of the third quarter, I was walking on the football field, just walking like, oh, I'm so bored of this game. You know what I mean? Yeah. So my mom got the hot dog thing in it, because after I did that, my brother just came back from his mission. I got the football. I went over to him. I said, I told you nobody better than me. And I was like, she reminded me that I was a hot dog and stuff like that. Yeah. Hey, I got to read this though, because my mom gave me this scrapbook. You know what I mean? If anybody ever been to the 21 compound, everybody loves this scrapbook. You know what I'm saying? And this was like just kind of things that helped me like perform in football because like I've been away from my family since I was like 17 when I went to military academy, right? So like I always took this book with me everywhere because it was just something that like held true to everything, like everything I do, like every single program I've been to, it helped me tremendously just reading this. All right. And it says, to be a champion, act like a champion. Pray daily and exercise your faith in Heavenly Father. Read your scriptures. Humble yourself. Be of service of your fellow man. Be smart and honest in all your daily activities. Avoid things that are immoral. Trust the Holy Ghost and guide and protect the times. You'll see the difference between impossible and possible lies in person's persistent determinations and thought process. Your attitude is very important. Your behavior translates how you feel to be a champion. We are all what we believe. Empower yourself with greatness and do not be defeated. Handle all problems with courage and faith, and it's all part of life. Mother's prayer, that you be cheerful at all times. Show love and let the love touch others around you. When you are in the service of your fellow man, you are in the service of the Lord. And that's success.
Nice.
Wow! Shout out to Mama Lawrence,
Big ups, Mama Lawrence. That's awesome. Good for that's an important message.
That's amazing.
Yeah, listen, whether you're playing football or badminton or just studying to be a scientist, like that's a great message.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Shout out to my moms, but that's a great play.
Let's get to the Elks because the Ticats are going to be visiting Edmonton this coming Saturday. By the way, Tiger Cats pregame launches at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Kickoff is at 3. The first afternoon game of the CFL season for the Tiger Cats as they try for their 6th win in a row. Sim, we'll stay with you on this one. Hamilton's defense kept Nathan Rourke in check for most of the game on Sunday. The Ticats were the only team to get the sack on Sunday. That was Philip Osai, of all people, who was making his Ticats debut. They didn't allow Rourke to throw a touchdown, which is a tall order, obviously. Made some big 2-and-outs. Looking at the Elks, what is the game plan for quarterback Cody Fajardo, who's now in for Trey Ford?
You know what I like about the CFL is a copycat league, and Nathan Rourke and Fajardo have like the same kind of skill set, so they're just going to take the game plan, and then it's going to be the same kind of game plan to attack the Hamilton Tiger Cats, but they're just going to try to clean some things up and play better football, honestly, because Cody Fajardo, he's an RPO guy. He does whatever he needs to do for his football team to win, whether that's running head first into somebody or trying to get a first down or taking the shots but the thing about Cody is Cody can read the whole field. He sees the field. He knows the field. He understands the field. The guy's been playing football with Scott Milanovich, Zach Caleros, Trevor Harris, Ricky Ray. He understands the CFL game as a quarterback. So, in my opinion, he should have been the starting quarterback and letting Trey Ford learn from him, because Trey Ford is somebody that they're just trying to push into the spot and just give it to them right away. And football players don't follow that, guys. You can't give anybody anything in a game where everything has to be earned and then tell the rest of the team, hey, go follow that guy because he's earned what we gave to him. It doesn't work like that. And I could tell just by the energy of the Edmonton Elks last week when Cody Fajardo was playing, it looked like a complete different football team. It looked like a better team. Like people were playing harder. Like they wanted the team's success to be around Fajardo winning this game. And the Elks look like a completely different team. No disrespect to Trey, but he just has to learn how to be a pro and how to go about things and lead a football team with a bunch of aggressive men that all think that they should be the guy. And Cody Fajardo knows how to do that better. So implementing him into this offense, the Hamilton Tiger Cats are going to not have to be able to look at this team like a and whatever or whatever kind of team they are. They have to look at this team as a team that's a really good football team, because anytime you're going against a quarterback with that much knowledge and depth of the football game and has weapons around him, and I don't think they run the ball enough, but I think Rankin, in my opinion, he's top 3 running back in the league if he's getting the ball and getting his touches the way he's supposed to get. So going against this is an offense, when you look around, it's like, how aren't they successful? How is it this team successful? And it's only because they weren't playing together as a team. Everybody was just worried about this or that. But with Cody Fajardo at the quarterback position, he makes Edmonton a better team, and he knows how to win football games just from like the RPO game or just throwing the ball and giving your playmakers shots. Like, that's so underrated in the CFL game. Like, I know a lot of people are like, man, you just threw the ball up. I say that all the time too, because like I play defense. I think everything's going our way, but you have to have faith and trust in your receivers, even when he's covered. Sometimes he's not covered. You see Bo Levi doing that all the time with Kenny Lawler, just throwing the football up, and Kenny Lawler makes Bo look great because that's Bo trusting in Kenny Lawler's ability. And I seen that with Cody Fajardo with Steve Dunbar in the same senses, because he threw the ball up to Stephen Dunbar, and Stephen Dunbar was getting opportunities to make plays. And when you give your playmakers opportunity to make plays, it permeates through the whole team. It permeates through the whole team, because no receiver wants to watch their quarterback running this way, running that way, running this way, running that way, and then run 10 yards for a first down. And I just ran 50 yards downfield doing this, doing that, and I got to line up and do that again with this guy doing the same thing. Yeah. That's not team football. And anybody that says that's electrifying. Yeah, that's electrifying for y'all. But for the team, that's not team football. So I think Cody Fajardo brings a lot to this plate, where the Hamilton Tiger Cats have to take this game very seriously. This is not no team you just run over, especially if you study the history of this team. Pretty much the whole management that was here is now there. Mm-hmm. So nothing will make them feel better than starting their winning train beating a Hamilton Tiger Cats. So that's why we have to understand we got to go in there and take this game like it's one of those East rivalry games. We're trying to get to the next opponent, because that's the type of game it's going to be. Like, they're going to get all kind of speeches this week like, yo, we got to put it on the Hamilton Tiger Cats, because they're from their top. That's who is going to deliver the message, and everybody's going to be on the same page. So the Hamilton Tiger Cats got a tough match this week against a Cody Fajardo.
Yeah, you're referring to, first and foremost, General Manager Ed Hervey, who was in Hamilton the last couple seasons. And listen, Matt, I mean, this Elks team is desperate. They're 1-5. Cody Fajardo has more or less gotten his feet wet with this offense. He knows what he's doing. Sim made mention of that. The guy's seen everything and have done pretty much everything too. How do you think the Ticats prepare for this matchup? Because it's almost like a Nathan Rourke light, or maybe a more experienced Nathan Rourke, who's maybe not explosive as Rourke, but Fajardo can do a lot of the same things.
Yeah, and so we talk about winners, and Fajardo is also a winner, right? This is another Grey Cup champion who led the Alouettes to a Grey Cup victory not too long ago, a handful of seasons ago. And he did that in a pretty good fashion too. Like they went on I believe it was a 10-game winning streak to close out that season. They started off that season 0-6, 0-7, and then just went on a tear, right? And I think that's also part of the leadership from Fajardo. And I'm not gonna guarantee, but I'm pretty confident that he's probably talking about that same sentiment with this Elks team. Hey, I've been here before. 0-6, 1-6. I've been here before. Guys, we're one game away. And so he's a good leader. He's a guy. I don't know if you guys heard his Grey Cup speech that he had, but he's a guy that he can get the boys rallying around him. And so he's a good leader for one. But then aside from his leadership abilities, he's also a really good quarterback. And I think one of the ways that Hamilton can get to him, if there's any type of flaw that Edmonton has, it's their O-line. And so the O-line last week, they gave up 8 sacks against Sask, right? And so this is something that I'm sure Coach Monson and the rest of the group that they're looking at. Again, it's not to say that they have a bad unit. It's just this is something that we can do to get after Fajardo. And so I think we might see some mixes with the stunts defensively. We might see. I know one of the things that they've been doing over the last handful of weeks is defensive back blitzes, and so we might see something like that. We might see Stabs coming down the pipe on a safety blitz. We might see Amos again coming off the edge, or Destin Talbot coming off the edge on some of these blitzes, just to keep Fajardo a little uncomfortable. I think again, even with these blitzes that they send, Fajardo can see this too, so he could very well adjust. And so I'm with you, Sim. This is a new team that they're about to play. It's not a 1-6 team. They're playing a team that's, I hate using the word desperate, but they are desperate for a victory, but hungry. It's not desperate. They're hungry. And so you have Fajardo who's going to come out there and he's going to do everything he can to lead this group. And I know for a fact that Hamilton's not going to take this lightly, and it's a big game on this schedule for them.
And you got to look at you always got to look at the big picture of every picture, because you have to see where Edmonton's at. Edmonton's not a team that thinks that they're out of it. They're still very much in the CFL competition,
Yes.
Like, I think, BC only has, 3 wins?
3. Yep.
That's nothing, for only a little bit into the second third of the season. 3 wins is how you can get into the playoffs. Everything is right in front of them. So when you're able to see the big picture and able to grab it still, you understand that this is not just a football game. We're in playoff mode now. Like everybody else, playoff starts in a little bit, but we're in playoff mode right now. And we got to get into it right now. So I think Cody Fajardo is the perfect quarterback that understands that. And I think Cody Fajardo will be even better here, because now he has to be somebody that he's never have to met. Because in Montreal, he didn't have to be the big tough guy, everything. He had a defense that would hold that mantra for him, where he could just be himself. But now in this thing, he has to be that tough, physical, mentally tough presence for the whole team. And him going in Montreal and winning the Grey Cup that year, this is the opportunity that he should want the most, taking a team like this and making them contenders. So I believe he's even extra more motivated, because he's understanding hey, this is really my football team. Because in Montreal, you could argue all of this, but this is his football team, and it'll go as far as he wants them to go.
The Elks have scored the fewest points in the CFL this season. They've allowed a bunch of points, I think the third most in the league. They've already changed starting quarterbacks, as we've made mention. They also, in free agency, made a lot of changes, and maybe a few big splashes, maybe the biggest splashes of them all when it came to retooling their roster. But yet they're 1-5. Again, they've changed starting quarterbacks. Matt, is it difficult when so many new faces come into the team to get on the same page?
Yeah, they have a new head coach there too, right? New head coach. Ed Hervey's not new; he's returning back to Edmonton, but they're still trying to implement. I think they're a team right now. They're trying to find an identity. They're trying to find, try to establish that culture within the group. Like what type of team are we going to be? What type of unit are we going to be? And I think that we see it a lot in the CFL. Actually, even in pro sports, a new coach comes in or a new management comes in. They're kind of going through those growing pains. It takes a little bit of time for those teams to kind of establish themselves and have that that clear vision or that clear mission. And so I think because there's still players that were in the old regime, if you want to call it that, and they're just trying to find their way. And so I think that it might take a little bit of time for Edmonton. Maybe this is the year they make a little bit of a push, but I think overall, I think it's just a team just trying to find their identity. Like you said, it's like they made some flashes or splashes, adding new pieces. But then, of course, you have a new head coach that's there. He's also trying to establish himself as he's the head man. And Killam is also a respected coach too. From Calgary, his years in Calgary, 16, 18 years out there as a coach, and of course he's known for his special teams leadership. But he's also known as a coach that can really rally the guys. Like he wouldn't have been named as a head coach if he wasn't able to lead men. And so I think Edmonton they're trying to find their way. It's going to take a little bit of time, like it does with most teams. And I think that's just where they are, in my opinion, is just a team trying to find that identity and establish that culture within those groups. So yeah.
The thing is though, Matt, they don't have time. Like
they don't,
Montreal, right. like they don't have time. And I hate when everybody was saying, "Oh, give Trey Ford time to develop." They're the former City of Champs. They haven't had a good season in about 4 years. There's no time to develop in professional sports. You got to win football games in a 9-team league. There's no give this guy time to develop. The time he develops, it'll be a whole new staff there. They just traded staffs. You know what I'm saying? They're expecting change right now. And the thing is, you have to understand the kind of players you bring into a football team. Like the way Edmonton was like, oh my gosh, he had a good season. He looked good, and we're going to put them on a team together. But that's not how football teams are built. You got to look at Okay, Seresna. What made Seresna a good football player? Every team Seresna was on, he had a bunch of defensive ends that could really rush the passer, like some of the best in the league. So, okay, if I got Seresna, I need a speed rusher on the same team. Not Robbie Smith, if you know me. They got the same skill set. So it sounds like they're big names, but the skill sets don't complement each other. And when you're building a football team, you got to make sure all of the skill sets on the players that you want to be stars complement everybody. There's only so many players where you can be like, we'll just throw him in there with this guy and he'll make it right, you know? And Edmonton doesn't have those kind of players that, oh, we'll just throw him in with this guy and he'll make it right. You know, so you have, when you're building your team, you got to see all the divisions, like, okay, this guy's really good at this. This guy's really good at that. You see a bunch of guys on the Edmontons, even on the defensive line, you're like, all these guys do the same thing. Nobody does anything different. Like, what is, you know what I'm saying? And then they got two good linebackers, but then it's like, who's the guy? Who's the leader? You know what I'm saying? Who is the leader at the linebacker? They're just running around and making plays, but it's not even making plays. So they have to find a way to get their culture right. And that is your job as when you're putting the team together with your head coach, is how can I implement this culture as fast as possible? What are the things that we are going to base this culture on? And then what they call them, non-negotiables. Like, you have to be tough, you got to hit, you got to run to the ball, you got to block for the quarterback, and you have to have certain non-negotiables that the coach is going to jump on your butt for. You see you walking, Elk, what you know what I'm saying? And that's how you build the culture. You have to build the culture to get the team. So now that's why I'm like, if I'm Cody Fajardo, I need a max contract right now because I got to do your job for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm coming in this. I got to implement a culture for you guys. I got to get everybody believing. I got to put some of my energy and my Grey Cup background into some of these defensive players, kind of like boost them up. Like, you know what, Morgan, you the leader over there, bro. You need to do ... You know, you got to, now the players have to do everybody else's job. So it's like, nah, you know what I mean?
It's going to be, I think, a fascinating game. You have a desperate team in the Elks at 1-5. You have a red-hot team in the Tiger Cats at 5-2, looking for a 6-game winning streak. Going to be a lot of fun Saturday afternoon. Tiger Cats pregame begins at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Kickoff is at 3 o'clock on the Ticats Audio Network. Thanks for tuning in. Click that subscribe button. A new episode of Ticats This Week drops next week. Enjoy the rest of the day.
This has been the Ticats This Week on the Ticats Audio Network. Like, follow, and get a deeper understanding of your Hamilton Tiger Cats.